So let's start with the next chapter with the gravel and spline offset that we are working for city modeling. So for city modeling, before we go ahead and I show you some of the city modeling techniques that we can use, I would like to discuss about spline and gravel plugins that you need to actually download and then go to your window, your file program, and wherever you have located it, Autodesk or whatever, I mean Flare program, and then Autodesk, just grab that. If you see, gravel and spline offset is there. So with that, we have, going back to our 3D Max file, we have something called as customize. And if I just select customize and unit setup, there is configure users and system parts. If I select that and I go to users and system part and select, just go to third, and you can say third party plugin, and I go to add, and I go to the plugins of the 3D Max where we have got Windows program, Autodesk 3D Max, and I go to plugins and I go to gravel. First I have to select one of at a time. Have to go to add again and go to plugins again and go to spline select and then say use path and say okay. Okay, it's a not valid. Okay, fine, that's fine. Just cross check. If you know, it should be there, but if you not, will be install it again. And now we just want to draw a rectangle, and I would like to go to 3D path. It will be easier for work for me. And if I go and change this to 800 by 800, I mean just a normal size that I have taken, and we go to this and I rename this to say driver space. So this will be our driver space. Now if I go and change this to say 800 by 800, if I go to top view, it will be easier for me to actually work on it. So that's the top view file. This is what it is. Now if I just go to line and create like two lines, if you select this, it's just another color. I select that, it just not allowing it to be seen. So that's line 1 and line 2. If I say make that into by say 18 meters, I mean the wider roads, I will say is 0.1. Just remain this again, 1.0, 18, 0.1, whichever you want to rename that. And let's go remain 18.02, so that for two lines, and then create some by the if you just select shift, you will get straight line. If you don't select shift, you will get some angle lines, and we create this like a straight one. So that is there. So I select this and I go, and again I rename this lines, says 9_01, and let's rename it to 9_02. So that's the command. This is all there. I will select this to this and create a plus sign and say driver blind. Rename this as a driver spline. So that driver splines, and if I select all of this together and I say clone and reference it all and go again to this and say casement. So I have all of these here. Now what I will do is I will select the one that I want 18 meters together, that is line 1 and line 2. I will keep my driver splines off as a reference, and I will go to blind offset, that's here, and there you go, that's done. And we have 18 meters as the width that we have decided. We go below and just check on it went into 3D, no problem. We'll convert that into 2D and we say open, but we don't need to keep the original blind. I go again and repeat the same thing where I have this blind offset and go to 9 meters, go to open, but say don't keep original blinds. So this is what happened to be the whole thing, and this is what is here. Just if you can create this white will be great. So this is what it is. Now I need to create blind all of these again to clone and say instant and say yes, another folder like shape boolean. So that's shape boolean. Now with shape boolean I will request you to so that now I select and go to spline next to standard parameters, then go to spline and go to spline, go to command shape boolean and go to shape boolean below, and they say subtract and then add it to it and select. So the issue that you just saw right now, which I just undid, it's because the casement is on. We don't need to keep the casement on, so I will go back to subtract I will say add, and now if I do it should subtract. So yeah, so this is what we have got, shape boolean. I just go below and say let's subtract the whole thing. I say subtract. Just to be careful that casement and drive spline not picked, I go up, add, just add it, and let's just subtract it, and there you go. So that's what will happen. Now with that I would like to again clone this and make this into a footpath. Okay. Footpath would be a good thing if it's instant. Go to one's footpath and say spline offset. So this is what happened with the line of sight, and I will reduce this to 0.5 meter. So if you go and see, you get a 2.5 pathway, and if you see more you go into but open. If you do but open, this is what happens. We just go back and select this again, go to line offset and form go to line offset, spline offset again, and I will reduce this. Like this builds. Builds, and we do builds, and this is what we do in builds. We go to modify command and we say query mesh, and this is what you will get. Now just to see a better shape of a query mesh, we go back into this and see this is what it formed as query mesh for us. Now with all this query mesh that we have created, we go and select this again. And now say select, just see, this is the query mesh. So if you see, this is what happened, and gravel very narrow, because the moment you see here you hardly see any distance between the two. So what I would suggest is increase the tapper. You don't need to increase at all this height. You can increase this width if you want. You can increase this height as well as if you want to, and now I will say no, don't increase the height. So yeah, you can just go flat 0 as well and trying to create better one. Let's do another gravel above this, and you will see oh my god, this is become messy. And if you see, let's me just go into this viewport. It will be easier for us to see. See, this is like what has happened. There is no space. I will select this gravel. I go back to the old gravel that we have below gravel and select tops. So the moment you do that, so you can see have this perfect grid working on perfect gravel work and everything. You go back to the top gravel and can increase to whatever extent you feel like increasing. You can increase the other height, and you can go to the web gates and increase the width. If you want to reduce, it just increases this part of it. Now with this have created two gravels, and if you want to go higher, you can create a third gravel as well. You can keep creating gravels, but remember, when you go to this, you select the top of these, then you go to this, and that is what the top of the gravel will be selected. If you have to select anything else, and if you want to, can actually increase to whatever extent you want to increase height. So that is what I think 10 will be good number, and that is what is increases. So that is your gravel. That is how we create gravels. You see a perfect grid work with the being created. Now with gravels, there is something else that I would like to even put. It is something called as a gravel. Before we even go to that, we go to the lines, and I go to traverse line. Lines of mine, and the movement I do that, I select this line, I go to this line, and I go there to vertex, and if I can move these, go to vertex, and I can move these lines, and shape whichever I feel I want to. You see this, there is a movement of the grid that I can shift as well if I want to. So this is something, if even ever you feel that you know your roads are not aligned, that's something wrong, you can always go ahead and change the lines. Now with that, there's something else that you can work on. There's something else as well as that we can put in with gravel. Is a very interesting command. It is edit poly. Now we have used edit poly easier earlier in exercise as well, but this will be another way of looking at edit poly. So if I go and do this with my edit poly and actually go to edit polygon, and if you see the whole thing is hidden, select this much, yeah, if you see that, and then I can select this much, or I can just select this much. So this is what happens with commands edit poly. Otherwise you can select and have the whole thing selected. If you go to edit poly, you see this is what all about. Gravel off, gravel as well as line offset with edit poly that we tried. We tried body mesh and shape booleans. That something also that we tried, and we got roads and everything. This one last command that I would like to even try is the footpath, because everything we have worked out. We have not worked out the footpath. If I go ahead and select footpath, go to sweep, I think that will be good command instead of extrude. You see, I get like a proper command created, something that you would like to create. First think it, I would like to change the color so that get better and color change. Now with that, if you want to change the color, you can change the thickness also. So the creates a footpath, and that's that gravel and city modeling looks like. So yes, this is city modeling.